It's one of them type of stories that will piss people off.
Officials in cities across the country are urging calm as we await the release of body cam video from Memphis that is said to be pretty brutal. A horrific beating of Tyree Nichols that later led to his death. The police chief calling the footage horrifying and disgusting. All 5 Memphis officers involved have been arrested and charged with second-degree murder and other felonies.
Demetrius Haley, Desmond Mills Jr., Emmett Martin III, Justin Smith, Tadarius Bean. Bruh, how difficult was it for you guys to get the jobs that you have and be able to thrive and continue to move forward and take care of your families and everything? And you give it all up by doing something dumb. Come on, man.
The incident happening earlier this month on January 7th, when 29-year-old Tyree Nichols was pulled over for suspicion of reckless driving. An initial confrontation occurred between the officers and Nichols. He then fled the scene, and later a confrontation happened and the officers arrested Nichols. He went to the hospital with serious injuries and died 3 days later on January 10th. The following week, Memphis police launched an investigation, as did the DOJ. By January 20th, those 5 officers were fired and were arrested yesterday. Cities are preparing for unrest, but Tyree Nichols' mom is pleading the supporters to protest peacefully.
But I want each and every one of you to protest in peace. I don't want us burning up our cities, tearing up the streets, because that's not what my son stood for. That's right. And if you guys are here for me and Tyree, then you will protest peacefully. You can get your point across, but we don't need to tear up our cities, people, because we do have to live in them.
I'm glad she said that. Now, that right there is what I'm talking about. That's good. That's good stuff right there. I love that. I absolutely love that she said that. I'm reading one of these comments right here, man, and I had to look at these comments because when I checked the Paul Pelosi new footage video, there was no the comments were cut off. But this story right here, the comments are on. And this one lady, Misty Blackfoot, well, first of all, Lisa Day says, that is a mom with a lot of guts and heart. God bless her. No one should have to outlive their own child. No one should have to outlive their own child, man. And then Misty Blackfoot says, that mom is hurting probably more than she has in her entire life. She has lost her child. And yet she stands there strong, a force, telling people to protest, but protest peacefully. That is an amazing woman. Words can't express how deep your grief must run.
And the Memphis police chief is emphasizing that this is not about race.
It takes off the table that issues and problems in law enforcement is about race, and it is not. It's about human dignity, integrity, accountability, and the duty to protect our community.
So, Jessica, we've heard victims' families before in these situations plead for calm, plead for peace, and oftentimes those pleas are not followed. How do you think things are going to shake out tonight?
Well, I'm hopeful that they will heed the family's calls. President Biden released a statement as well saying, please be peaceful about this. But the timing is difficult. It's going to come out after 7 p.m. on a Friday night, and I can see both sides to this, that maybe it's better if people are going to protest, that you have the weekend where you're not supposed to be at work. But it also could be extremely dangerous.
Hey, what's up, Brent?
With people running around you. I mean, you're sitting at home on a Friday night at 7:30 and you see a video like that. It's got to be pretty bad if they preemptively charge them to make sure that everyone knew that it was this bad. If they're saying that it's arguably worse than the Rodney King video, and we know that there are people, the 5 police officers, a firefighter who responded to the scene as well has also been charged. I think that we're in for a really heart-wrenching weekend and few days after that. And I'm honestly scared. I'm scared also to personally watch the video. I watched the George Floyd video, which was very difficult. And it sounds like this is going to be worse than that, which is hard to imagine.
Judge, how do you think the Memphis Police Department and the authorities down there have handled the situation so far?
They got out in front of it, Jesse, and they charged, as you said, the murder in the second degree, along with, you said, other felonies. We're talking about kidnapping, as well as every possible crime they've been charged with. My understanding is that the DA is well respected there. And that the governor, along with the mayor in that town, have worked well with the community. And you may recall that even during the George Floyd riots, Memphis was relatively quiet. I, like everyone at this table, and I'm sure in America, is just kind of holding my breath, hoping that it's not as bad as they say it is. The truth is, we already know it's worse than Rodney King. Rodney King didn't die. But what we've got is a family here who's got a great deal of dignity saying, please don't destroy the city. But what I also know is that for the last several years in this country, there has been an effort to defund the police. Not just an effort, it's a reality, to defund and demoralize the police. When Tim Scott came out with a police reform bill, nobody even wanted to read it. We talk about police training, and that's what's going to come out of this. They're going to be prosecuted as well they should if everything that's being said, it comes out to be the case. But we've got to recognize that just this past week, we talked about that Atlanta public safety. They were trying to build a new building for training, and they came, Antifa, I don't know who it was, came out of the woods and started shooting at the police. We need more police training. We have to recognize that these cops are bringing shame on everyday cops who go out there and risk their lives. They're bringing shame on the community, and they're bringing shame on the black community as well. And that's not who we are. And so we've got to prepare to bring the toughest punishment, if indeed it is what we expect it to be. And as it relates to the issue of when is the best time to bring it out, I thought that a Monday morning at 8 o'clock might be the best time to let this out.
So did I.
But this is what they're saying, Jesse. They're saying that people will be at work, kids will be at school. Now people will be home. I understand they're ready to impose a curfew and to shut everything down. So maybe it's the right time. We'll see.
This is the police chief addressing the timing of the release. Let's watch that.
We think about the entire public, to tell you the truth. We thought about schools. We thought about business. And we felt like Friday afternoon, if there were individuals who decided they wanted to peacefully protest, at least other individuals would have gone home, schools would be out, and it wouldn't be as disruptive as it would have been if we released it on a Wednesday afternoon.
Brian?
Well, this is going to be an interesting study because the one thing you don't want is what happened in Chicago. You find out 8 months prior there was this horrible video and it was suppressed, and it comes out and he goes, what were you trying to hide? Okay, no matter what your story is, if you're a police officer, you're going to have a hard time getting ahead of this because it seems like you suppressed it. On the surface, this just seems like a bad move. What we're getting coming into the show last night, we're watching the press conference with the police officers, and they're saying this is one of the worst things they've ever seen. Stay tuned for tomorrow night. I mean, it's almost as if they're queuing up our programming, beginning of your show, and getting everyone ready. Now, one way you could say is, at least kids won't be in school. They don't have to cut school. I don't know what the point of that is.
I'm getting tired of this. I'm just going to be 1,000 with you. I'm tired of it. I hope people can get to a point where they stop abusing their power. These police had to understand before, and this wasn't the first ass whooping that they doled out. This isn't the first person that they beat the brakes off of. It's not. It's the first time they got caught. The first time they probably all did it together. 5 big dudes. Some big guys, man. 5 big dudes beating the hell out of one guy who they pulled over. They pulled him over. There was an altercation. He ran and they caught him again. So there's a lot more to this story than what's being put out. All right. There's a lot more. But guess who's not going to find out a lot more until it's already super watered down and it's quiet. And we done swept this under the rug, and we got something else that happened on the other side of the country that we can now pay attention to. This is crazy, man. I'm tired of even seeing it. And then you have some people on the internet who are mad because the police were arrested so fast. Why they arrested so quickly? I know why they arrested so quickly. That's why they arrested so quickly. If they look like this, then they wouldn't be arrested. We'll have to protest so they'll be arrested. But since they look like this, they arrested the next day. All of them. Quick. I'm like, did you not want them to get arrested? Yeah, I want them to get arrested, but when the white police do this, they take forever to arrest them. So what's the point of the argument again? What are we talking about? Man, you don't ever see what I'm trying to say. We don't know what this dude was pulled over for. We don't know why that one pullover caused him to get into an altercation with an officer and then run, and then they catch up with him and then beat the hell out of him. This whole thing is bad, man. And you know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start preserving my judgment again. When I very first started doing these reactions, political reactions, I was preserving my judgment. And people were mad at me. They were like, are you ever gonna take a side? You gotta take a side. Come on, bro. You gotta take a side. You gotta take a side. Come on, you gotta take a side. Well, I am back to not taking a side because all of this is bad, man. All of it. And I want to know what the hell's going on. That's just it. That's where I am right now. I want to know what's going on. Please do me a favor and go to the website, LFRFamily.com. Fill out a Bang Bang Tea form. You know, ask me whatever question you want. I'm going to provide you the answers. And I want you to order from me so that I can wrap the stuff up in the package and send it to you myself. And I might even put a little something extra in your package depending on how our conversation goes, okay?